right, so first of all, thank you very much for coming to my talk. I'm really happy to see passionate people to talk Saturday, 4 p.m. about containers and machine learning ops. My name is David Cardozo. I'm a Google developer expert, and I work as a chief analyst for UpData. The slides are going to be in this QR, so if you want to pick a little bit of what we're going to do in this hour, you can go in here. And yeah, so I think if everyone's ready, we can start. Good. So a few things first. So does anyone knows what happens on November 11 here in Canada? Anyone? Yeah. You probably see people having like a Flanders puppy around here. It's November 11 Remembrance Day. So we honored the people on that had fought in the war effort. So does anyone know which is this Canadian fellow here, Tom Stevenson? So this guy is actually the inspiration for James Bond. James Bond was written by Ian Fleming. He, you know, the British operative that goes and go into dangerous mission is actually is based on a Canadian called Tom Stevenson. He was a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot, and then he joined the war effort in the Second World War, and he was an inventor. Here, it was a machine that he created to communicate images. And finally, here, I don't know if you have seen the new $1 coin there. It's Elsie McGill. I'm not very good with pronouncing the correct name, but she was the first woman in Canada in engineering to get an engineer degree. Actually, the first female aeronautic engineer in North America, and she supervised the constructions of the Hawker aircraft for the Second World War. So important thing, number 11. Just keep in mind, I think that you guys also hear the fighters going up. But it's important that I just want to say that more than about violence, more than about having the strength, it's people like doing innovation, doing this kind of inventions that can bring innovation. Not in the best times, as here it was in the Second World War, but it's important to remember. So, with that in mind, now let us change to more modern times, and let us imagine, if you will, that you're an online retail selling shoes, so you're a company that is focused on selling fashion items, and you have a model that actually predicts click-through rates. So, does anyone what is this metric? Does anyone knows what is the CTR metric? Yeah. Anyone? Mr. Fan? Yeah. Yeah, what is CTR?
Just the percentage you will click to specific item.
Perfect. So as American, that's very important, right? Because if you put it there, you want to see, hey, how much people actually click into that. And let us suppose that you have you create this model just to know, hey, I want to have my inventory of shoes be ready for Tuesday, Friday, and to be able to actually dynamically allocate how many shoes do I want to have. And you have a model that helps you to decide how much inventory you want to order. And this model performs very well. It's a very good model. But then suddenly, from day to night, your AUC and prediction accuracy has dropped on the men's dresses shoes. So how do you get to this point? I don't know. I wanted to have a feeling of the room. How many of you guys have actually worked in a machine learning role or a DevOps role? Could you raise your hand? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, perfect. The most important thing is that for you guys is that models can suddenly have very bad performance. Even if you are really good into taking into account that data is not leakage, that you are actually continuously reviewing these models, it can happen that from the day and night it happens. And mostly, I think that my team is around here could tell that I have always this face when I got the metrics for certain models and say, why happens this? why do we have these kind of models, and how do we actually know that there is a problem? In the case of, for example, in the case of the on this fashion merchant, it was why suddenly I cannot predict how many shoes I'm going to sell. What suddenly I don't have any idea of what are the next inventory that I need to order. So most important thing, a difference from software or from very data science role, data can change rapidly. So we can have a very unique set of shoes. We can have a good data, but then a new instance of an image can appear, and this can throw your model out of the way. So just to give you a few ideas, these kind of problems can be. I can do the dichotomy into two. Is that the problems that you know that happens really fast is that, hey, you might have a bad sensor, you might have a bad software, and you slowly start to see that maybe your models start to drift, that you start to that the measurement that you have at a certain time is not realistic for the new parts. So sudden problems can also occur. So for example, if you have a camera that takes images, it can be a bad sensor. You have bad log data. It can tell you, hey, maybe they are not receiving a good quality of the images. A system problem, which is going to be, some update on the software, some loss of network connectivity or the system down, or someone suddenly having bad credentials to access the systems. But we have gradual problems. The data changes. So for example, in the case of the shoes, in the case of the shoes, you might have done correctly the first time the collection of data for your machine learning model. You have done very disciplined the collection of all the images that you need to have. But as soon as the new fashion order comes, your model is not going to improve at all. So these are kind of the gradual problems that actually one of the big difference or the things that you might want to always tackle as a machine learning developer. And data has seasonalities. So for example, shoes that people are considering cool right now can be changed out of season. The importance of feature changes. So for example, colors are becoming outdated for certain people, or business expand to other geographies. And you can see that, I don't know, if you guys have seen the fashion in India is currently way different from the fashion in North America. So why it's important to understand the models is that mispredictions, and when you actually do a bad inference, it's not that it costs X amount of money for your business. It can cost, a misprediction could be, I don't know, if you are selling shoes, you're suddenly ordering very, very old shoes that nobody's buying. And you're always going to have that the data that you always want is maybe not the one that you wish to train. Sometimes it can happen that the images of the new shoes that you want to sell are not available with the same format. And the model objective is always a proxy. It's never like, hey, I want just to maximize the amount of selling that I want to have. It's always a proxy that of your business objective. So, and mostly, hopefully, you guys believe me that the real world doesn't stand still. Fashion change, business change. So it's always important that when we understand the model, we can also adapt that the data can be moving in a fast-paced environment. So this brings us to that, what is actually production machine learning, and the whole idea is that we're going to tackle these two things. So how we can tackle the gradual problems and the sudden problems. So now there are easy problems in machine learning. So for example, if you guys want